I've been a volunteer with Be a Hero for some time now, and I'm on a mission. And I want to warn folks about the pitfalls of Medicare disadvantage. Now, greedy for-profit health insurance companies push Medicare Advantage because it drastically increases their profit. You see, Medicare Advantage is not Medicare. It was sold to me as a cheaper alternative to cover everything Medicare does and give me bonuses like hearing and dental care. Yet I still had to use a charity to afford my hearing aids, and I pay for a secondary insurance to afford my dental. They didn't tell me I would be trapped in it forever and not able to switch back to traditional Medicare unless I could afford to pay 20% of every medical bill, because no one will sell me a Medicare supplemental policy. In all but a handful of states, insurance companies can hold pre-existing conditions against you. Now, it doesn't cover everything Medicare does without fighting. When you need an MRI and you have traditional Medicare, your doctor orders it, you get it done. With Medicare Advantage, your doctor has to ask your insurance for permission to do the MRI in the form of a prior authorization. Oftentimes, those are denied, and you're told to go get an X-ray or a physical therapy, anything but the MRI that the doctor wanted you to have. Under traditional Medicare, that brain tumor got caught. Under Medicare Disadvantage, it may come too far too late to save your life. With traditional Medicare and a supplemental, you do not have office copays, specialist charges, hundreds of dollars in copays, and co-insurances for overnight stays in the hospital. I didn't know that when I signed up. And at the time, I was so sick, I was in the hospital a week at a time. My hospital had to approve me for free care. I was looking at being buried in thousands of dollars in co-insurance charges. These private for-profit health insurance companies make grotesquely greedy levels of profit while denying and delaying care to millions. My Medicare Disadvantage policy is carried through United Healthcare. They make about $80 billion in profit annually. They collect those dollars in Medicare premiums and upcoding patients to make people look sicker, giving them more government dollars. And then even when you get a prior authorization issued, there's no guarantee of payment. I've spent the last year fighting to access the treatments that I need to live. And that's had to include getting my doctors paid. I've had to hound the insurance to ensure payment. The doctor will submit a bill, get it paid, submit an identical bill, it's denied. You need a different code or a modifying code. It's beyond ridiculous, and it's horrific what lengths they will go to keep from having to pay the medical bills that they promised to pay. Worse, it's limited access to the best America has to offer. Nearly all doctors in the country take Medicare. But if you're on Medicare Advantage, it's a different story. No one should be locked out of the best because of so-called networks. I live 30 miles outside of Boston, Massachusetts. It's safe to say the world's best and some of the most cutting-edge medicine takes place there. I was a Dana-Farber Brigham and Women cancer patient. Now, out of network. My last visit was covered half in network, half out of network. And it took a complaint to my senators and the senator for Medicare to have that bill reprocessed. Now, my story can happen to anybody tomorrow. I was a fully functioning EMT. I had multiple jobs in EMS. I was even in government. I served as a Republican state representative. I was vice chair of commerce. I worked on medical legislation, and I thought we had it right. I thought we needed to just keep tweaking the laws for care, but I expected that the basics insurance would cover, and I was so blind to the reality. After I was diagnosed with my second cancer, breast cancer, things did not go well. My surgeries, I had 3 in 1 year. I didn't heal right. One of my core muscles became paralyzed. I was wheeled out of the hospital, and I've never been able to walk unaided since. I lost my job. My career ended at the age of 42. My house was foreclosed, and my possessions, over the years, I've sold everything that was worth anything to stay alive, to pay thousands of dollars a year for treatments and medications my so-called insurance refuses to cover. I still deal with the shame. I feel for failing. I mean, all that I worked for. I miss the pride of being a homeowner and what I did for a living. Then, like a lot of people, my rent went up $400 all at once, and we were looking at being homeless. I started rationing my treatments. They cost $600 cash up front. So the 400 had to come from somewhere. And the depression was nearly life-threatening. But I found help. An organization called People's Action created a public campaign to shame United Healthcare into approving and covering my life-saving infusions. There was a petition, videos, social media storm. Be a Hero jumped in and helped spread the information, and to help me keep the pressure on with more videos and public efforts to force United Healthcare to cover my care. And it shouldn't take this. It shouldn't take me traveling to Minnesota, standing in United Healthcare's lobby, telling them I don't want to die. I watched a doctor in his 80s be arrested, trying to slow down the killing machine that's denying care and delaying care, and the denial department, the computer algorithms. I worked in medicine for decades. And if I can't navigate the way through this healthcare without a fight, how can the average person? This is where you come in. Millions of people need to be warned. Thousands are suffering in silence, and they need to know you exist. It's people like you that are actively saving lives every day by warning and being there to support people, support others who are fighting for access to medical care they need to live a life of quality with dignity. I don't know about you, but I got a renewed energy and I got a great deal of hope for our nation. I see a future with better healthcare after this next election, and we have the power to usher that in. We have the power to make those changes happen faster and better. Let me tell you, I sat with a group of volunteers just like you. Some shared their stories, others leaders in healthcare activism, and senior staffers from the Biden and Harris administration earlier this year. We shared our stories and they listened. We asked them to limit the money being promised to for-profit health insurance companies in Medicare dollars, and they did. They held the line. They didn't give them one more penny. Thousands of Be a Hero sponsors and supporters, after being contacted by our volunteers, flooded their senators' offices with calls and emails, asking them to stand up for traditional Medicare, and they were heard. Time and again, we've seen how the power of many can not only save a life, but better our futures. So what can we accomplish now? Then we can count all of you among us. Thank you so very, very much for joining us tonight. And I am so looking forward to working by your side.